when I got distracted. So the objective from the session is, the objective for the 3-day workshop is to, one, get everyone to view their agri-enterprise as a business, get everyone to register their agri-enterprise as a business, and to develop a business plan for the agri-enterprise. Also to use technology to improve your business enterprise. Is everyone happy with the objectives I've set for the 3-day workshop? Or is there anything else you'd like me to cover?
Yes, it's rather interesting.
Yes, I am. Very interesting as well.
Would you like me to add anything else to it?
So far, no. Probably as we go along.
Right, so we're moving along into day 1 now. We're starting off day 1 with what is a business. Before I go into answering that, has anyone viewed the I'm looking at the poll. Someone asked to create a poll. Kindly, have you done so? Can you kindly?
Yeah, we're working on it. Just give technical difficulty. Just give us 2 seconds.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. So what is a business? So before I go into definition of a business, many of us, including me, when I started off with a small farm in 2010. However, I registered my farm as a business in 2015, 5 years later. The Ministry of Agriculture currently certifying us as farmers, pretty much give us a certification program. When it first started, the ministry had a training program component with it. Right now, there is no longer a training component. Someone can just walk into the Ministry of Agriculture and ask for a farming certificate or farmer's ID, and through information from your extension office that can be granted. However, I think they are missing out on the training component of farmers, especially new farmers, into what are the best practices in agriculture, best practices in farming and whatnot. And the same applies to business. So this is why when Kiflin contacted me to host this workshop with you guys, I was excited about it because we have a group of persons who are viewing farming beyond just planting, but also looking at the business aspect of farming, because farming is indeed a business. As you could see, definition of a business is an organization or an entity engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities with the aim of generating a profit. So in essence, a business is a separate entity from the owner itself. A business should have its own identity, its own bank account, own transaction, and everything. So next point, we have business typically involves several key elements, some of which are purpose and mission. All businesses have a purpose and mission. Businesses have a purpose or a mission that defines their reason for existence and what they aim to achieve. This purpose often revolves around addressing customer needs, providing value, or solving a specific problem. In our case, I'll say our because I am a farmer as well. We are farmers. We also provide and supply agriculture produce. Another element of a business is products and services. Businesses offer products and services that meet customers' demands. These can be physical goods such as clothing, electronics. Yet again, in our case, is farming. Stakeholders. Business have stakeholders who have an interest in or an effect by the business activity. This can include the shareholders, employees, customers, suppliers, government agencies, local community. Plus, revenue generation. Businesses aim to generate revenue by selling products or services at the price that cover costs and generate profit. It is very important to understand the cost of your business, the cost of operation. Therefore, when you sell your produce, that you can make a profit out of it, that you can cover the cost of the business, the cost of the business. The operation and processes. Businesses have operational processes that involve activities such as production, logistics, marketing, selling, and to name a few. All of these apply to all businesses, not only corporations, but also small farming businesses. Legal and regulatory compliance. All businesses are bound by the law. Businesses must comply with applicable law, regulations, and industry standards in their operations, such as licenses requirement, labor laws. So businesses have their own identity and they are also governed by the law as well, similar to we are. So we will go and discuss type of businesses. For this exercise, I will focus on 4 types of businesses. At any time, if you have questions, please feel free to interrupt and ask. At the end of the session, we will have a Q&A, but feel free to ask questions. So type of businesses. Businesses are categorized in various types based on businesses are categorized into various types based on factors such as ownership, legal structure, industry, and operations. For this workshop, we will focus on the following types of businesses. 1, a sole trader or a sole proprietorship. A business owned and operated by a single individual. The owner has unlimited liability and is personally responsible for the business debts and obligations. So pretty much everything about the business is centered around you. We look at partnership, a business owned by 2 or more individuals with share of profits, who share the profits, losses, and liabilities. Partnerships can be generally partnerships equal sharing of profits and liabilities. Or limited partnerships are partnerships with limited liabilities based on their investment. We have corporations or companies. Companies are legal entities separate from its owner, pretty much the shareholders. Corporations have limited liabilities and ownership is represented by shares of stock. They can be privately held, closely held, or publicly traded on stock. So there are 2 types of companies. There are limited liability company, where the company liability is still attached to the shareholders, and there are unlimited liability companies where the company liability is not tied to the owners. And finally, on types of business we will discuss briefly are cooperatives. A cooperative is a business owned and operated by a group of individuals, members with a common interest or goal. Cooperatives can consume cooperatives can be consumer cooperatives owned by consumers, worker cooperatives owned by employees, or producer cooperatives owned by a group of producers. I believe this workshop is a group of producers, and you all can create a cooperative. In terms of my view on cooperative, I have a slightly different view on cooperative. I believe more in incorporating a business than a cooperative, for the sole reason of the structure of how a cooperative works. I believe in a company, the liability ties more with the shareholder and people put their hands to the wheel more. In a cooperative, everyone pretty much expects someone else to do the work. That's just my view to it. But cooperative is a good means of business as well. So far, we have any questions for me? I feel the chat is quiet.
Just so you know, Jameson, 46 persons have voted on how many persons have a registered business. 61% said no and 39% said yes.
Thank you very much, Kiflin.
Welcome.
So definitely this session is very important. We need to get everyone, when this session is completed, the academy, I would like everyone to have a registered business, because there are advantages of owning your business, and we will get into those later on. Okay, thank you much. So what type of business is best suited for you? Selecting the best type of business for your needs require careful consideration of several factors. Here are some of the steps that will help the process. So earlier on, we looked at 4 types of businesses. Sole trader, we look at partnership, and we looked at a company and a cooperative. So basically right now, we are discussing which of those, in terms of the 4 types of business, is best suited for you. And the first of the points to help define that is we analyze the business type to demand the best suited or the best of your requirements. Analyze business type. So basically, you have to evaluate the different business structures, such as like I mentioned earlier on, the 4 types, and determine which one is best suited for you to, in terms of set up a business. You also have to assess your available resources, evaluate what resources are available, including your financial capital, the time to pretty much set up the business, the expertise, the different types and requirements, different levels of the business. Your cost of incorporation is also important. It is much cheaper to incorporate a business as a sole trader than a company. But for this exercise, since we're looking at small groups or small holdings, most of the information is centered around a small business. We also need to consider the risk and liabilities involved. Risk and liability is more applicable to companies. It's not that the small business doesn't have risk and liabilities, but they are limited and usually smaller in terms of the amount, and lower in terms of the risk as well. So we now moving on to how to register a business. So before we go to how to register a business, I feel I'm the only one speaking. I need to get you a little more engaged. In the 4 types of businesses I mentioned, which one of them would you consider to register to set up your business as? Can I get a few engagements on that?
I am a sole trader
Sole trader. Why are you a sole trader?
because I have not expanded, so there is room for expansion. So when I expand, I will be able to employ persons. So, but right now we're still small.
But you can be a sole trader and employ persons as well.
Yes, but in that aspect, that is one man show. Sole trader,
One-
everything
All right, understand.
for now.
Someone else?
And yes.
Okay, I am registered as a sole trader. I chose to register as a sole trader because I'm just starting out and finances are limited. However, I would like to be incorporated to protect my personal property against any business risk.
Someone else?
Hi, good night. I have an existing business, but it's not related to agriculture. I'm a sole trader. However, I'm looking to go into agro processing with my mom, and I'm looking into going to partnership business so that we can balance our expertise and our resources.
I could see Anya hands is up. Anya?
Hi, Jameson. I'm incorporated just because I know food carries high liabilities and I wanted to separate my business operations from my personal life.
Yeah, that is a good reason. Someone else?
Hi, good night, Jameson.
night.
I have a limited liability company, but that's because we have it. Agriculture isn't the sole business that we're doing. We actually import tires as well, so we decided to keep everything separate and apart. So that's why we have a limited liability company.
Thank you. Anyone a member of a cooperative? Is there anyone on the call a member of a cooperative?
Yes, I am as well.
You're a member. Do you understand your rights as a member of a cooperative, your powers as a member of a cooperative?
No, I don't.
Do you view the cooperative as a business or you view it as a group?
A group.
A cooperative is also a business and it should follow all the processes that any other business follow in terms of having the adequate reporting, having the full structure as well. And as a member, you're a shareholder of the cooperative and should be more in. I am a member of 2 cooperatives and I don't know much about them. And this is mainly due to me not getting involved much, but we as members of cooperatives should inquire all the membership or the board accountable to us in terms of. So anyone here from the 61% who don't have a business registered, thinking of registering their businesses?
Yes, I would like to get registered. Yes.
Why would you like to register your business?
I want to be I don't have the reason, you know. I just can't put it into words.
And put it into words.
Yes, but I would like to have a registered business. I would want to have my brand on the shelves. I wouldn't just want to get your product out there. Don't you have to be registered and go through the whole process?
Yes, definitely.
Well, yes.
Definitely. Especially if you have a brand, you said you want to get your brand out there. to
Mhm.
pretty much, have a copyright around your brand so that someone else
Mhm.
can use your brand name. So it is
Mhm.
important to register your business. That is how you can safeguard and protect your brand.
Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons I would like to get registered. But I know we're going to touch base into that. What has been giving me leaks is doing a business plan.
And that's for our next session. So definitely we'll delve into that. Michelle, it's your hands up.
Michaela, yes.
Michelle, sorry.
I would like to register my business. I believe registering a business has a lot of benefits as well. You're protected as well, and if you do that, there's a lot in it for you. So I believe I will register, but not now. But then I will do that. But as an incorporation, yes.
What prevents you from doing it now?
Because I'm not on I take my time experimenting with my at work. I'm a full-time worker, so I cannot do anything much now. I'm just trying to experiment and get some kind of my hands on some kind of you need to do that as a farmer first and before you go into something big.
Yeah, but,
So I prefer to do it that way.
yeah,
I mean, you
do you
can
have
get
So that's the best thing.
registered.
yeah. Do you have a business name in mind? Wouldn't you want
Yes,
to?
I do. Yes, I do
Wouldn't you?
that. Yes,
Wouldn't you want to
I've
protect
had
that?
that in mind from 2012. Yes.
Wouldn't you want to protect that business name for preventing
Okay, so
someone
you
else from
from
registering it?
taking that name. So if my name is unique, somebody can still have that the chance of taking my name, my business name.
No, but if you register, no, I'm not asking you the business name. What I'm saying, if you register the business name, you are protecting it from
Somebody taking the name.
from
Is that what you're
somebody taking
saying?
the name. Yep, that's what I'm saying.
So even if you have a unique name, somebody can still do that. Yeah.
If it's not registered, someone can take that. Unique is what we think unique to us may not be to someone else. More than
Ah,
I can
understand.
give you a real example. One of the participants on there. Yeah, just a second. Two persons have their hands on. One of the participants on there had the business name in mind. When they went to register to a search on the business name, and they realized my business had this.
Yes,
So
very true. Very true. Great name, Jameson.
yeah, sure. If I thought that my business name is unique, okay. If I didn't register it, that participant would have had that business name instead of me. So when I would have gone to register it, the registrar company would say to me that name is not available, it's taken. So this is a reason right there to register your business name.
Can I share something on that light?
Sure.
Yeah, when I started my business is healthy nuts and I do vegan products. And I came up with the name on by myself, health nuts. It was health nuts. So I put nuts with a Z, referring to people who are crazy about their health. And I thought that was unique to me. And a couple years down the line, I decided to do a search on Google, only to come up with other businesses around the world with the exact same name, Health Nuts. So then I had to, although I was registered in St. Lucia, so I was the only Health Nuts in St. Lucia. But then I realized if I decided to export, I needed to make sure that there were no other health nuts. So when I did the search, I realized there were others. So then I had to rebrand and go as Health E-Nuts. Yeah, so it is really important to be registered and not just do a local search, but do an international search as well.
Yep. Sure. Roxanne, your hand is up.
Yeah. I was you were asking about who has what kind of business. Well, my business is a partnership. This year my goal is to incorporate it, so I just wanted to understand the how to incorporate it, what's needed, if you could shed some light on that at some point.
Yeah, sure. That's part of that section.
Yes, so that's it for me. on that subject. Yeah.
So Rhonda has a point saying that register the business primarily because the individuals and individual business farmers are exempted from income tax. Companies are required to pay tax unless they apply for concession. Agriculture business are exempted from tax. You are correct, Rhonda. There is someone else that their hands up. I think they put it down. Still want to make a point? But someone else with their hands up. I think it was, I don't remember the name.
Hi. I didn't make
Hello?
your roughly
Hello, you can
response.
go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just read something in the chat about registered as a business primarily because businesses and individual business farmers are exempt from income tax. Is this true? Probably that's the reason why I should register the business, if that's the case.
Agriculture as a business is exempted from tax, from corporation tax. Yeah, that's correct. That is right.
Oh, even as a
depending on-
business or as a company?
As a year, if it's agriculture based on your products is agriculture products, yeah, you're exempted from tax.
Okay, so farming exempted, whether registered as a sole proprietor or as a company.
Yeah.
All
Farming.
right, that's interesting.
Type of business, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for the dialogue. Felt like it was me alone in the conversation. We're moving to the next point, how to register your business. Someone asked that question. Registering of a business is done through the Registrar of Companies in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce for companies and SEDU, or well, Small Enterprise Development Unit, or SEDU, for sole traders and partnership. So if you register in a company, you have to go through Ministry of Commerce to get it done. If it is a sole trader, a small business, or a partnership, you do it through SEDU. SEDU is an arm of the Ministry of Commerce, but it's designed for small enterprise development, small businesses, small and medium enterprises. And SEDU, also Ministry of Commerce, is on the fourth floor of the Heraldine Rock, I think, building, government building. And the Registrar of Companies is located in the, I think it's the 4th floor in the Uranoa house located at VG. So the processes involved in registering for a business includes, you have to, 1, choose or select a business name, conduct a business name search, submit the complete business registration application with all relevant documentation, pay the fees, and your business is a legally registered entity. So choosing a business name, selecting a unique and appropriate name for a small business, well, for any business for that matter, that complies with the country's laws and regulation. Ensure it does not infringe on any existing trademark or registered business name. Well, in terms of ensuring it does not infringe, when you do a business name search, that will take care of that, and we will come across that. The importance of a business name should not be underestimated. Here are some reasons why a business name is significant. For brand identity, a business name serves as the foundation of your brand identity. It is often the first impression customers have of your business. A well-chosen name can convey the essence of your brand, evoke emotions, and create a lasting impression. So for members who have a business name in mind and they holding on to it still, I would say again, go out and register your business name so that way you can protect it. It communicates values and, well, it should communicate values and purpose. A well-crafted business name can communicate the values, purpose, or core offerings of your business. It can provide a glimpse into what your business represents, helping customers connect with your brand and understand what sets you apart. So basically, selecting your business name is very important. It sends out the message out to customers, both your brand identity, sets out what your values are and whatnot. It also creates a differentiator and recognition, differentiation and recognition. A unique and memorable business name can help your company stand out in a crowded marketplace. It distincts your business from competitors and aid in brand recognition. A strong name can pique curiosity, attract attention, and make your business more memorable to customers. And when you're talking about brands, there is and also the names. There's a famous saying about Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Many market research have proven that Pepsi tastes better than Coca-Cola, but all financial reports will indicate that Coca-Cola sells much more than Pepsi. And that is because of the brand, the power of the brand, the uniqueness of the name, and the marketing force and engine that is behind it. So having a name that people that can, more like a sticky name that can stick in people's minds, in your consumer mind, add value to them is good. I've come across business names that when you hear the name of the business, you asking what does it mean? What it's for? You understand? A business name should not be centered around you. It should be centered around your customer and the impact it has to your customers. Also, we talk about the marketing and advertising. I give the example about Coke, the power of Coke and Pepsi. It likewise Nike and many other powerful brands. People would associate with your business because of the brand name attached to it. It also creates scalability and expansion. You want to select a name for your business that it is scalable, it is open for expansion, it can be global. It is not a name that's only relatable to, let's say, our local communities or only St. Lucia. Earlier on, one of the participants spoke about having a name, and when she did a search, it was all over the internet. And she had to change her business name so that it can have a more global recognition. So all those things we need to take into consideration when we're choosing and selecting a name for our business. Can you guys give me some or share some other thoughts about the selecting a name for the business? Some of the reasons you think a business name is important, those reasons that is not important. Let's make this a dialogue, not a monologue. Make me feel like I'm interacting. Any feedbacks?
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Lucia Gustav Alcid.
Thank you,
As you spoke, what came to mind is since I don't have a business as yet, but I am exploring. When I say exploring, meaning a lot of things are coming to mind and I have not settled in one thing as yet. could I just go and just create a business name and just have it in my possession?
Yes, you can do that. Many people create company names and they sell the company name after a while. The company would not trade at all. But if they find a catchy name and you
So
register
what
it
if
as
I
a company,
create it and I never use it?
if you don't use it,
And I go into something else other than the business name that I created.
you can create another business name. It's relatively cheap and easy to create a business name. Someone can have multiple
So what I'm
businesses.
saying, since I did not use it at all, and somebody comes and probably they would say to them that probably this is already registered under Lucia's name. And that person wants that name, and since they're saying it's not in use, would they contact me and tell me, hey, this person wants to use the business name that is inactive or something?
No, that cannot happen. It's registered to you, it's yours for life.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Someone else cannot have your business, whether you're active or not.
Okay.
If you dissolve the company, then at that point, I think the name can be reused. But I need to confirm that though. But once it's registered and you have not dissolved that company, no one can have that business name. That's why you conduct a name search to ensure that there is no other business with that same name.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, welcome. Any other comments about business name?
Yes, question. So if you registered as a business, right? So you have that name on hold, but then later on you want to expand, as with most persons here, and you would register as a company. Wouldn't they do a separate search as a company name? So let's say you have healthy food as a business, and then when you come to register as a company, you see healthy foods is already taken. And remember, you built that brand of healthy foods as a business. Is there any such situations?
I'm not positive from that. What I'm saying is my thinking. When you set up a company name usually ends with limited, like LCD, limited liability company. So it would be like Healthy Foods Inc. or Healthy Foods LTD, you understand? So that creates a differentiator in the names, but I'm not sure because both of them are set up as two different types of business. I'm not certain. I'll inquire and provide that answer at the next session.
To me, the names are too close. They wouldn't, whether it's a registered company or a small business or just a business name, if the name is still the same.
Yeah, if the names are close, they can refuse it if the names are close. But
yeah,
someone can change the name by changing a word or letter in the name, and they can get away with it. So they can say one is LTD and the other one is just a street name.
Jameson, yes, you cannot use, so if it has a, let's say Jameson's aquaponics, you have that, and there's a Jameson Aquaponics Inc., you cannot have it. So she wants to move from partnership to an Inc., the name is still there. She just adds on the Inc. and she incorporates the business.
Okay, so someone else cannot have that same name without the Inc.
Yeah, you cannot have two names. They'll ask you to search again or change the name.
Thank you for that. So the next step in terms of registering a business is conducting a business name search. Conducting a business name search is an important step before finalizing and registering your business name. There are several reasons why it is critical to conduct a comprehensive name search. In St. Lucia, the name search is done through the Register of Companies. Like I said, it's located at the Uranoa House, which is situated in Vigi, opposite the Vigi Court. So some of the reasons, which is the main one, is avoiding trademark infringement, and basically to avoid someone else using the same name. And like the last participant said, that also includes using the same name with a different in terms of the abbreviation at the end, whether it's Inc., whether it's a limited liability or whatnot. So the register of company would do that search so that would recognize and avoid that. To maintaining brand distinctiveness and similar to the trademark infringement, it's the same process pretty much. The name search would prevent that. It also allowed compliance with legal requirements. For example, I don't think you can use criminal phrases, names in the name of a business. So the name search will also ensure that takes care of that. Also prevent brand confusion. Brand confusion would mean where you have a brand that is pretty much close to another one, and just to confuse the market. So the register of companies will have that responsibility to ensure that doesn't happen. So after doing your name search, the register of company, the name search takes around, I think takes 3 working days. So you go back to the register of companies, you get the name, the approval of the name. Also, when you're doing the name search, there is the option of having 2 other name searches. For example, if the first name is not available, you have the option of searching for the second or the third name. And yet again, that is optional. If you believe that your name is unique, you could just submit just one name. But it may just lengthen the process where you have to go back and change the business name. So once that form, you receive that form, you take it to SEDU, to pretty much the Ministry of Commerce for Register of Companies to start the process. And the next step would be to complete the business application form. The form is available at SEDU, or you could also receive it online through the Ministry of Commerce website. You then would provide all required documentation, which includes the name search documents from the Register of Companies, a valid identification card. In our case, you could use national ID card, your driver's license, your passport for the applicants or any partners or directors. You also required to provide proof of address, which is a utility bill, a bank statement, or something that could confirm that you live in a specific location. Or someone, in cases that you don't have a utility bill to your name, you could have someone from the household write a letter with a utility bill and indicating that you are a member of that household. So once you complete that process, you complete all the forms, you have all the required documentation, then you submit the complete business form to SEDU for processing. That is the shortest of the processes. That usually happen on the same day. If they're not busy, they may ask you to just wait for it. Otherwise, they may have you to come back, but that's the quickest of all the processes. That happens real fast. Yeah, and once that happens, then they give you another, they approve the form, they give you, they then put it on another document pretty much, and you then allowed to pay all the applicable fees to set up the business. And the first of the fees for specifically for if you register in a sole trader, you're required to pay the fees for the business registration. The fees can vary based on the type of business structure you choose, a sole trader, partnership, or company. With a sole trader or partnership, a JP can sign to register that company. However, for that type of business, however, for a company, it must go through a lawyer. Lawyers must prepare that document, signed through lawyers. The Ministry of Commerce have lawyers that can also you can use, and they are actually cheaper at concession rates, so that you could use to do that exercise. By using private lawyers, it will be more expensive for you if you choose to set up a business, incorporate a company using a private lawyer. So persons who wish to set up especially a company, they can always utilize the government assigned lawyers at the Ministry of Commerce for that. So for sole traders, you required to a JP, Justice of Peace, required to sign your documents. The charge is $15. But I think that cost varies from JP to JP. Some may do it for 10, some may do it for 30, for 20, but yet again, that depends on which JP you use to do that. You are also required to purchase a stamp, a 250 stamp. That stamp is used for the register of companies when they file in for the business registration. And the cost to register a sole trader company, a sole trader business is $125. So basically you pay that $125 to the register of companies. And yeah, the total cost for registering a business is $157. Relatively quite cheap to register a business in St. Lucia. I think most persons who engage in any form of business should consider registering their business. Anyone has registered a business and had a different experience? I know those rules change from time to time, and that's what obtained quite a while back. I'm not sure if they have changed. Can anyone confirm that that's the process to register a business?
That is still the process.
Yes, you can confirm.
Sorry?
I was saying, yes, that's still the process. The only thing that they allow now is that, I guess with technology and COVID, they allow you to email the name search now. So you can contact SEDU. I can drop the number in the chat for SEDU and the email to do this name search. You can download the name search form. So like, I guess persons in the South, they don't have to come to Castries before they start the process. They can search for the name. I think you said it's 3 days. I think it's about 3 business days. You send it to the info email and they will tell you back they'll reply back to you to let you know whether or not they approve the name search. That's the only thing that's changed. You don't have to literally come in person to do it.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and after submitting the application form and pay all fees, you will receive your business certificate, not actual application, your business certificate within 3 days. And from then on you have a legally registered business. It is important to note that the registration process and requirements may vary, like I mentioned earlier on, and it is recommended to consult a professional that you represent, a professional in your jurisdiction directly to obtain the most accurate and up-to-date information on this. And that information can be obtained through SEDU and Ministry of Commerce. and the register of companies. After you have your business registered, you also have some additional compliance requirements. After the business registration process is complete, you have to register with the relevant authorities, comply with the law as pertain to the business. You have to then apply for NIC, and you have to apply for a NIC number for the business, NIC certificate. So the business have its own NIC certificate identity, likewise the individual. So with the business NIC certificate, you will be an employer, and you can then pay for NIC for your employees. You also need to register for the tax identification number, TIN, with Inland Revenue. This number is necessary for tax-related purposes. For agriculture businesses, they are tax exempted, so you don't need. For me, my business is not registered. I did not register tax identification number because the farm is exempted from paying tax. And it depends on the nature of your business, you may require to pay some business licenses. If you operate a food-related business, you may need to obtain a health permit from the relevant authorities. That would be from the environmental health, and there is a cost to obtain that. You also have to maintain the renew and maintain the validity of the license. Ministry of Agriculture at some point through the farm certification program, farm identification process, they wanted to include environmental health as part of that process, where they would come and assess the farm to ensure that it's in keeping, especially since food is being produced there. But that has not happened. However, for agro processors, they can confirm whether they require the same for the agro processing. I know for restaurants and for food related, it is required, but is it a requirement for agro processing? I know there are a few agro processors on the call. Can you confirm the agro processors? Any agro processor on board on the call? Can you confirm for food? Yes.
Yes, for food related. Yeah.
What about for dry food? For example, what's agro processed dry food? Or if you do, well, I guess the would consider that as well. If you do salad.
Once you're processing food.
Once you're processing food, it's required.
You need a health license. And they're gonna be constantly checking up.
Yep, I'm aware of that. A trade license is also required for business selling alcohol. Well, it's a liquor license. This can be obtained at the magistrate court. Yep. So if your business involves selling alcohol, you would require a liquor license for that as well. Yep. And with my business, well, I have a farm, but we also serve a farm to table meal. We have a more like a cafe, which includes a bar. We sell alcohol as well, and we do have both health license and liquor license, which is one of the requirements for providing. Are there any other business requirements that's not included there?
I do have, good evening. I do have a question pertaining to the business name.
Sure.
I have two questions actually. One, supposing you register a business with a name, but for example, a food business. So you do catering, meals, etc. And within that same business, or like during the time, you embark into something else, still food related, but different, like for example, agro processing. Do you have to make any changes for that name? The type of business?
That's a good question. If it's within, because when you're selecting the business name, it asks you the nature of the business. If it's within the same agriculture, you may not need to do it. No. If it is a different industry, I think you may require to incorporate a second business for it. Although you have one business that provide different services cross in terms of dimensional, in terms of different types of cross-sectoral.
Okay, but the thing is that, for example, when I created the name, well, the business name is actually Andrina's Kitchen, and the slogan is like pinching flavors. So you hear about flavors, about food. Everybody look at it as food. But now, within that time, I start doing the processing and preservation. To me, it doesn't really match.
Like you could have the business and have a different brand attached to the product, you know. So the business name can stay the same, and the brand you have for example, before I go to the example, you could have the business one and have the brand for the agro processing different. You could have a different slogan, a different brand for it. In my instance, in my case, the name of my farm is Green Haven Fresh Farms. However, now I'm doing agro processing. So I just create a different brand for the agro processing. So no, for the agrotourism. So I have now Green Haven Agrotourism Tours for the agro tours. So you could do the same. Have one name and have two brands underneath it.
Oh, okay. All right, then, thank you.
May I say something, please?
Sure.
You could add to the name, the name, because if you think that name speaks for itself, or you could make have another name, because if she says Andrina's Kitchen and pinch the flavors, and she think the other business was another string of income, and she would like to identify it by itself, she can give it a different name.
Yeah, yes, she can do that, which I alluded to, or she can have it as a separate brand under the same business name.
Yes.
So it would be the brand trading as the business, whatever the business name registered on Gina's Kitchen. Or in some cases, you could create, well, that's in case of companies, you create a parent company and you have a string of companies pretty much affiliated with the parent company. And you have a hands up?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, when you say the brand, do you mean register a business name under the company and trade as that?
The brand, you don't have to register. It's just more what you trade as. You don't have to register the brand.
Okay.
There is no legal requirements to register the brand.
So also you don't have to, also you not have to change the type of business on that same, under that same business, right?
If it's under the business name, if you change in the sector, I need to confirm that as well. But if you change in the sector, I think it will be required. But if it's within the same sector, I guess it can stay and just change the brand.
So can you elaborate on the process for the brand? Do you just create it yourself, or is there actually a legal process?
You can create it yourself if you want it to. If you want to copyright it, you could. There's a legal process, but you could create. Let me rephrase. To protect your the rights of to protect the brand, I think you should register it. You can register it with the group of companies as well, register of companies. And you can register it as a brand through the business, through the same business name. Because if it's not registered, someone else can easily go and register it as a company or as a business.
Okay, because I actually did that. I registered a business name under my company just so I could secure the name. But I wanted to find out. So you're saying just copyrights, if you're not registering, you copyright?
Yeah, if you're not, you don't have the copyright, you don't have the protection of the copyrights, pretty much the privilege of that to protect you. Someone else can use that name, can take that name because it's not registered anywhere, so there's no copyright to protect you from it.
Awesome, thank you.
Understand, welcome. Roxanne, you had your hands up?
Yes, I had my hand up. Yeah, same question that one of the young ladies asked there. About the incorporation. Yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking to the incorporation. Instead of like coming up with a whole new name, it's the same sector, same agro-processing, you know. So I have the name Vegan Avenue, and my partner has a business that is related to it. So we could keep the same, we can use Vegan Avenue and the other name and put it and like merge it. Let's say, okay, let me give you the name is going to be Vega Estate, right? Because the Vegan Avenue and G's Estate. G's Estate is my partner's company. Can we do that? Or do we have to register it as a whole new entity? Like as incorporated?
Yeah, if it belongs to your partner, you would have to, if it registered as under your brand, it would be yours. So if you want it separated, being your partner's own, you'd have to incorporate it as its own, as its
No,
own.
it's actually we both own it. Yeah. I'm practically co-own it. I co-own it with yeah. So we just have
so you all both co-own both of them, both companies, both entities. What I'm trying to figure out is one of the entities owned by one individual and the other one by both. Roxanne, did I lost you? Hi, Roxanne. Roxanne, not there in you. Okay, Roxanne is silent a while. Casey, could see your hands up.
Yes, good evening. I'm a bit lost when you mentioned the word brand, because I don't really understand what it means. So could you explain that? That's the first part. And the second thing is, is it possible to have, I'm just going to give you an example. Say the name of a business is Hibiscus Love Restaurant and Bar. Do I need to register something else? Hibiscus Love Organic Farm or Hibiscus Love Skincare, Natural Skincare? How do I go about doing that? Do I have to put 3 separate businesses, or is there an easier way to do it? Thank you.
The first question in terms of the brand is the how I say, the trading name or the trademark of the company in terms of what it's used for marketing purposes. So that's how the business will be recognized as. For example, let's use Coca-Cola, for example. The brand is Coca-Cola. However, the company name is I can't remember the company name, but the company name is something to do with, it's different. So there, in most cases where there is a brand, you could have one company and have more than one brand registered to that company. So the brand is pretty much the trading name of the business. Whatever brand you want the consumers to see, to traders to know you as. So it can be the same name as a business, or it can be different. So in the case of, if you want to use you have more than one product, you can also register the brand with the company, with the business. So if someone doing a name search, they would recognize that that brand name is already taken. So by registering the brand name, you are protecting it. Did I answer your question?
Sort of. So if I have for many years, if I have a business registered already, but it's not really in operation, let's say hibiscus, what I gave you a while ago, hibiscus love. You with me so far?
Yeah, I'm with
And
you.
then I want to venture into something else. Hibiscus love organic farm. How do I need to put it separate, or is there?
So what
I
I'm
need
saying,
to register two businesses.
you could do it either or. You could register two businesses, or you can register Hibiscus Organic Farm as a brand under Hibiscus Love. You could do it either of the two. It's all up to you how you want to do it. If you register it separate, it would have its own identity. So therefore, there would not be no cross transactions between the two. So one other business transaction would not affect the other business. But if the two as one, it makes it easier to manage financially. You could have one set of accounts, but you just differentiate your revenue streams in there.
Okay, I understand. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Alison Francois.
Hi, good night again. Earlier, Jameson, you mentioned that your company, you didn't register it, your farm, you didn't register it. What I'm asking is, with the ministry, how do you become a recognized farm in terms of Ministry of Agriculture, etc.?
Yeah.
I mean, there must have been a reason why you did it that way. So I was just wondering why you did it that way instead.
The Ministry of Agriculture recognizes a farm through a farmer certification program. So where they give you a farmer's ID.
So sorry, so it's you, it's the farm and not you. It's two separate entities.
Yeah, it's two separate entities here. The ministry recognizes me as a farmer, not the business here. So they issued the business certificate, the farmer's ID to me as the farmer. However, I registered the farm as a business. So the government now, I guess holistically would recognize the business as a business rather than me. And I have another point to raise in that regard, but let me just get someone else have a question. Let me
okay, no problem.
Yeah. Miss Brown, you have a question? And how you pronounce your name? Senior?
Hi, good night. Yes, the name is Yorancia.
Yeah. Hi,
okay. My question is that when it comes to having a sole trader business, in connection with having multiple names, is it best that you register it under a company or a cooperative, and what's the difference?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat?
Okay, so if you have a sole trader business or sole proprietor business and you want to register like another entity under that name, can you do it as a sole trader? And if so, is it better you do it under, you change your company so you can get to have different businesses or subsector under a company, or
You can
under in
you can have more than one. You can trade. You can have more than one business trading as a sole trader. However, as a company, the requirement as a company is different. So as a company, you must file corporate taxes or file your accounts every year. As a sole trader, it's not as compulsory as a business. Right? In terms of the cost of setting up is also more expensive. I think to set up a company, the cost is, I think, $1,500. But to set up a sole trader, the cost is like $157. So as a company, however, you have unlimited liabilities. Pretty much you are not connected to the business. The business have its own identity. So it gives you that protection against the risk of, if something happened to the business, for example, the business goes, pretty much closed down, your personal property is protected from the business. So the bank or any legal entities cannot come after you for your personal belongings in terms of to recover for the business loan or business process.
Okay. Wow, thanks.
Yeah, but for me, my business is when I set up in 2015, I pretty much went to set up a company to provide me with the limited liability in terms of protection. But due to the cost of it, I just registered as a sole trader, and I accept the risk of all business transaction is tied to me. But at some point, I will incorporate as a company. That's my intention at some point, to separate myself from the company. Also, some banks don't even recognize, well, for example, the credit unions, they don't recognize a business corporation. They still ties the loan to the person as well, directly. Any further questions on business incorporation? Earlier on, one of the, I think it was Alison who asked a question about how the ministry recognized me versus how did the ministry recognize me or the business, the Ministry of Agriculture? And my answer to that is the Ministry of Agriculture recognized me. They don't recognize the business. However, currently, SEDU, the government of St. Lucia through SEDU have a loan grant component. That initiative is currently ongoing. I think it expires in the 31st of May. So anyone who has not applied can do so. I can share the details with the organizers and they can email to everyone. But for that grant, that loan partial grant application, if you're a startup, the government give you up to $10,000. 70% of it is a grant, and the additional 40% is a loan. And the interest rates are favorable as well. Very low. I think it's a 3% interest rate. If you're in business between 1 and 2 years, you get up to $20,000, and if you're in business over 2 years, you get up to $25,000. And to qualify for that loan, you must have a registered business. So part of it is for farming. However, there are many farmers who do not have a registered company and they cannot access that money. So what a lot of them had to do is to go and register a business so that they can access the funding that's available for them. So that is one of the advantages of registering a business. And I'm saying all that to say the same government who provide you with the business, the farmer's ID. It is valid, it's a valid ID, but another branch of that government does not recognize the farmer's ID as a business. So they view it as it's just an identification. So for that purpose, I believe all farmers, well, beyond that purpose, I believe all farmers should register their businesses, and they would be able to benefit from other benefits you can receive if you have a business registration. Is anyone here aware of the loan grant program with SEDU?
Yes, hello, good night.
Hello,
This
good
is
night.
Julia here. I am aware, but it's from 30 years up. Below that, I don't think that you are qualified to get the loan, the grant. You have to be 30 and up.
Yeah, Joanna said it's 41 and up. Yeah, there are other requirements, but one of
age related?
I wouldn't say
Yes.
age related. It's just one of the requirements. I think there is a program for the youth economy.
Yes, the youth economy is for the younger ones.
Persons younger will benefit from the youth economy. But I'm saying that to say many farmers who went for that program, they are being turned down or sent to create a business, register a business, because the Ministry of Commerce through SEDU don't recognize them as a business. So that is another valid reason, one of the valid reasons why, regardless you're a farmer, you're into farming, you should have your business registered.
What about if you are probably qualified, you have your business name and so on, but you are not of that age group?
Yeah, well, I don't have much details for it. I can share with the organizers, but if the age group specified 41 and up, then I guess that's the only persons that will benefit from it. Like I said, there is some initiative for the youth economy. So those would cover for persons below that age group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
May I shed some light on that, please?
Sure.
Okay, for the question she just asked, if she's registered and she's affiliated with SEDU, she should have a mentor. So therefore, she needs to go to her mentor and they would advise her exactly what to do and how to go through the process for the youth economy, because she's not meeting the criteria for the other one. That is the 31 and overs, but they had the funding for the youth. So her mentor will be the one that could further assist her there.
Yep, thank you for that detail. I have not heard any information with reference to the youth economy, what's available to them as yet, though. I know that is a work in progress. Are you aware of what's available to the youth economy? Any such or similar facilities for them?
Yes, for the youth economy, you can check them out on Facebook, log into their website. I think the age is from, I'm not sure, but the last flyer I saw from 18 to 35. I think you get up to $5,000, but they have different programs. So based on the program you register for, there's amount and certain requirements for you to be to get the grant as well.
So do you require a registered business to get the grant with the youth economy?
I'm not sure. The first flyer I saw, they was actually helping persons to do the business plan. Yes, so if you didn't have a business plan, they helping you, and after that they would allocate some funds to the persons that did the training.
With the current initiative with the government right now, you require a businessman as well to pretty much qualify for the funds. They want to know what you're using the monies for. They also want to know what your cash flow is as well. Yep, so let's move along. Battery running low. Just a second. Could see Pauline hands is up.
Hi, Jameson. I think one of the things too, you must be able to show some financial information, and that is a bank, like a history of some information from your bank.
For the
Last
youth,
week, pardon?
for the youth economy or for the current?
That's MSME grants.
MSME grant, you don't require financial information for it.
You don't need this?
No, all you require is invoices of what you're applying for.
Okay, great.
I think for you require financial information, no, not even for. There's another initiative for community tourism. Community tourism have another one as well, another grant facility, loan grant facility.
Okay, but the other thing, thinking of maybe having this registered business, you must have some history. Say you have this business for about 2 years, right? But you can't just, is it that they can register the business and just go and apply for the grant?
Yeah, well, if there are many persons, especially within agriculture, that's why I was emphasizing that have been in business for a long time and they are not registered. So if those persons register, the ministry will recognize it.
Okay, great.
Yeah, especially
Thank you.
If you have your farmer's ID, you can attach your farmer's ID to indicate that you have been farming, you have been in the business for quite a while. I was speaking to one of the committee members reviewing the loans, and he sort of indicated if you have a farmer's ID that can show you're in business before. For example, if you in farming maybe 5-10 years ago, but you just applied to register your business now, and if you can show proof with your farmer's ID that you are farming before that, they will consider that as your business is not a startup, but it has been in existence for the years you've been, more than 2 years, which is when you were in farming.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yep, so why is it important to register your business? We were basically going through some of those points earlier on. Jacqueline has her hands up. Jacqueline, you could go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
To qualify for farmer's ID, must you be a farmer or can you be an agro-processor and qualify for that ID?
It's a good question. If you produce the whatever you use to agro process, I think you qualify. But I know the farmer's ID specifically for agriculture and livestock. I'm not sure if it's for agro processing. Hold on a second, let me look at my ID. It specifies crops and livestock.
Okay. But you're not sure whether they have a category for agro-processing?
I'm not sure. I can find out and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But you also have the option of registering your business as well. Is your business registered?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that is good. Yep, so we're going now through some, there's another comment. Thank you for posting the information in the group chat. So why is it important to register your business? Registering your business is important for several reasons. One, for legal recognition and protection. We discussed that earlier on as well. If your business is registered, you are protected legal in terms of someone cannot, you have pretty much legal recognition. You have a business have its own identity. Business have its own identity, so you are legally protected. Also, someone cannot use your business name in protection. So we also have name protection. If your business is registered, your name is protected. Someone else cannot use that business name. It helps maintain your brand identity, reduce confusion among customers, and safeguard your reputation. So you're the only one that can have that business name. Compliance with law and regulation. Registering your business ensures compliance with local, regional, but pretty much with the laws and regulation. It ensures you operate within the legal framework, including tax obligation, licenses, permits, and whatnot. Government would love everyone to register, so government knows what you're doing and could easily make it easier to do business with you. Access to business banking and financing. If your business is registered, it makes it easy to obtain a business loan. The business have a separate account, because if, for example, you want to differentiate your earnings from the business earnings, because really and truly the business is a separate person from you. Without a business registration, without a business registration document, you cannot go to the bank and say, okay, I want to create a bank account for the business. The only way you can open a bank account for the business is if the business is registered, or you take a loan for the businesses if the business is registered. It builds trust and credibility, so people know your business name and can use it for trading. It facilitates business transactions similar to the banking and whatnot, so you can do business under your business name and doesn't have to be under your name. And for future growth, it helps for future growth and succession. Succession as on if you want to pass on your business to someone else, include it in your will, include it in your trust. Having a business registered, you can do that. Without the business being registered, you are limited. You are limited in terms of using it for your succession planning. It also have one of the access to government support or resources. It's not only government, but also agencies. Some agencies recognize groups, recognize businesses. Once you are an individual, it makes it harder for you to do any business or trade. No agency wants to do business with an individual. Rather, they would rather do such with a business. Yep. Any additional benefits of setting up a business? Yep. Thank you for Elena about the question relating to the farmer's ID. There is the categories are livestock and crop production. Are there any additional reasons why or importance to register a business? Or do you all find those reasons valid enough so that you all can establish or set up your business, register your business? There's a question from,
Yes.
Go ahead.
Also training and business support. So you get mentorship and whatnot when you register your business.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, through CEDU, yep. That's an advantage, yeah, sure. And the government is actually encouraging business persons to register their business and providing assistance with that. So we have 15 minutes, I think, remain. That's for question and answer. During the remaining time, can I get your feedback on the session? Do you find that it's important to register your business? Will you consider register your business for those who have not registered as yet? Do you have any other questions relating to business registration? It's pretty much an open floor at this time. Anyone can comment.
Any advice on going into a partnership business with a family member?
Advice, need to tread cautiously. I think the first and most important thing in a partnership is the trust. If you believe that, and that's something you determine for yourself, if you determine that the person is trustworthy and you could go into partnership, absolutely. Partnership works with others. It tend to be more difficult within, how I say, don't want to put it that way. But partnership work similar to any relationship. Once there is trust, respect within the partners, it can work. And I think that needs to be present for you to absolutely say, yeah, you can be in a partnership. Some other challenges with partnerships and likewise cooperative, you find one member tend to be doing most of the work, and when for the benefits, the other member wanted either shared equally or don't want to be compensated differently. So those are the challenges within partnerships. The other advice I would give you is to set out a MOU for the partnership, clearly define what the terms are. Yep. Cheryl, you want to make a point? Go ahead.
Yes, good night. Having a partnership. Partnership is both parties may take a loan from a bank or a financial institution, and sometimes a partnership may sour and one party may decide against paying that loan. So that means it becomes your debt. Somebody's obligated to pay it, and if this person doesn't want to pay it and you need to keep your good name, then you automatically are forced to be responsible for the loan. So like you said, this is something you have to think hard about before.
Yeah, it goes to trust. Once you trust a person, you can do it. I would not say no, absolutely no to partnership. I think you need to determine if you can trust a person to do it. Or the other option is you could register your business as yourself and have the person invest in you through a loan. They could invest in you through angel investment, and you pay them back, set the terms and conditions the same way. So there are many ways to invest with together. Any other feedback? Any other questions?
Just a question. So if you're married and you plan on starting a business, not a company, you would have to go the way of partnership, not sole proprietor?
Yeah, you can be married and have a business. You don't and have a business registered to your name only.
No, what if I want it on both names?
Yeah,
I would have to go partnership.
That's a good question. Rhonda, I noticed you've answered a few questions on incorporation. Can you assist with that? I think it may have to be a partnership, you know. Yeah, I think it may have to be a partnership. Rhonda, can you answer that?
Thanks.
I will look for the answer for you for our next session.
Okay, so just giving feedback on the session. I really was intrigued with the fact that I could register a business, and as it is a farm, you know, tax concessions in the form of no income tax. So it is an incentive now for me to go ahead and register. And also the stipulations or the requirements for on the yearly basis, for example, with the company, you would have to file taxes and stuff. They're a bit lenient on the business side.
Yeah.
So that there is also a plus.
Yeah, and SEDO facilitates the transaction, make it easy. It's really, it's pretty much affordable. One cost around a 157. Yep, totally agree. And at some point, if you want to incorporate, you grow big, you want to incorporate as a company to safeguard yourself, your investment. You could do that as well.
But even with the, for example, so say I want to be compliant and I have to file taxes at the end of the year, apart from my personal income tax that I have to file with the business, I would now have to file a separate form. How does it work when it comes to taxes and filing? As much as it is not a requirement per se for farmers, how does it work?
It's exempted, so you don't have to declare it.
Okay, so what about those doing agro processing? It's also exempted?
I'm not sure for agro processing. I'm not sure for agro processing whether it's considered under. Well, I say no for agro processing. Agro processing is viewed differently.
All right, then. Thank you.
Yeah, restaurants are viewed differently as well. Farming is what's exempted. If you're in the production of food. And well, when I say food, I mean agriculture, cultivating.
Dana, what you doing there? What are you doing there?
Yep, we have 4 more minutes. Any additional questions? Or you could share your opinion on what you think of the session, the discussions, the topic. Or would you like me to cover something specific in the next session for the business plan session?
That's me again for another question. I think
Go
you were placed in that group for a reason. Question. How do you get tax concessions by registering a business? Can you apply, and what is the process? Have you ever applied for tax concessions as a business, not as a company?
Yes, I've applied
for importation and those things.
Yes, you can get tax concession. Yeah, there is a form with SEDO which you could apply. It's quite a simple process.
Okay, would you require
small
being in
business?
operation for a number of years? Would you
No,
require being in
No, you don't. They may ask
So
how
I
long.
register tomorrow by SEDU and I say, okay, these are the list of items that I would love to procure and to import, and I would appreciate if it is duty free.
Yeah, if the item is used for your business, I don't see no reason why they shouldn't give it to you. They would refuse it.
Okay,
Because
great information.
especially when you require the items for you to pretty much conduct business, for you to trade, for you to operate.
Okay then, thanks.
Yep, welcome.
I just want to comment on that. Somebody who's actually gone through that process should share it, because it is not so simple applying for concessions as a small business owner. There are requirements. So if there's somebody who either has experienced it, maybe they should share what you really have to go through to get that. But it is not a simple process.
I've applied for concessions for my farm. Well, it depends on what concession you're applying for. My phone.
Yeah, because you're a farmer.
Yeah, but well, yeah, but I applied for the shading one through the farm. My laptop is going cuckoo now. Second, let me try to. Not sure what's going on with my laptop. Not quite sure why. So to say it's more difficult because you're maybe as a farmer it might be easier because some of the concession might. Any I think the time is up now. Yep. If there is, yeah, I'm still here. If there is no more feedback, I would like to thank everybody for your participation. Thank you for joining. Thank you for participating. I'm looking forward to see you for the next session.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, have a good night, all.
Thank you.
Have a
Good
good
night.
weekend.
Night,
you.
all.
Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Jameson, for leading us into this session.
Thank
I know you have
all.
2 more classes with us. So for those persons who didn't ask any questions today, I hope maybe they will save it for the next sessions. Thank you again and good night.
Definitely. You're most welcome.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.